happy Sunday. What are we doing today? Well, new README on GitHub. Nothing really new there except some speculation about some things I might be wanting to work on next. But what we're working on today is kind of continuing. I don't even remember what were we working on the last stream. As I've said a few times, we're kind of like approaching this one point from multiple different angles. It's kind of it's a spatial metaphor for the current efforts in the project. And so we had worked on a new script, a new program in the backend, which I ended up just calling render job, right? That takes a thing that I'm calling a cut list, and it's turning that into a rendered video for upload to YouTube, which is half of what I had been using DaVinci Resolve for. The other part that we had been working on is the front end. And let's see, how do I want to do this? I think we'll go from inside of Storybook. So I think this was off stream. Yeah, I did go back and revamp and make sure we had some basic things in the Storybook setup for the video editor repo, so that I can work on that kind of in a freestanding way without needing to yeah, that's a private IP address, right? Yeah, I think so. Maybe not. Don't DDoS me. Anyway, so we have this ability to look at our video editor component, although it's less of a video editor this point and more of a, well, what it says on the name of the component, a video selection page. So this actually is just some random video that Copilot suggested the URL for, which is kind of funny if you think about it. Anyway, let's get rid of that. So, and I have some test data here, right? So we have in the UI here, we have the video, we have a timeline with the different things that we might want to know about that the AI found by looking at the transcript and the audio of the video. Something I haven't really looked at all is like looking at the actual visual elements of the video and giving that to ChatGPT to do something with. So that's a thing that could be done that's just not explored yet. But we have highlights, attentions, transcription errors. We have the ability to look at a transcript, although this sample data doesn't have that, or chat messages, so that we can like look at all the information about a stream, right, in a single view. And so what I was working on yesterday was the ability to have a button here called clip, and you can see it grabs the section of the video from here, so from the beginning to 10 seconds in, and it accumulates this list, and we can remove that, and that goes away. We can also hold shift and click, and so normally when you click on this timeline, it advances the timeline of the video, but holding shift allows you to select one of the segments here and add it to selected clips. Interesting there that so if I do this at the end, does it add? Okay. Do I want to do that way? Do I want to? I don't know why you would add the same section over again. Okay, well, so this is what we're working on today anyway, is this component and kind of how this all works. Specifically, I have this issue here, and you can see, so we're working on this, add cut selection to video editor. Shift click and highlight to select and add to the current selection. I said this is done. Maybe it's not quite done yet. Let's refine that a little bit. So in Glowing Telegram video editor, we have a component. Let's do the clip selection dialog. Is that where I need to do this? One of the things I'm doing in terms of state management is generally I am minimizing the amount of state all of these components have. And then TBD on this, but for now, I am maintaining more state at this page level. Of course, the intent is that this component, video selection page, is going to be embedded inside of the real Glowing Telegram front end, where it's going to be used. It's going to be plugged into like API calls and the backends and all that sort of stuff. So the idea with this repository is just to provide front end components. And at least at the moment, what I'm doing here is we are maintaining state. So I think there's an amount of state that makes sense to maintain inside of this component hierarchy. So like essentially the playhead of the video isn't something that the container application will need, I think. And so that state is just maintained in this component. Currently the list of clips is also maintained in here in the state of this component, which we'll see if that somewhat needs to be extracted. The other thing here is that a lot of the functionality of this page component is composed of different child components that this package, this library provides. So it's not I'm not 100% sure if the use case for this the video editor component library is going to be using this component or using these parts and then doing that work of putting them all together in the front end. And so that's something I haven't really decided one way or the other. I've just started using it, and we'll adjust based on how things shake out. There'll be a point where, maybe we need to integrate something into how these things operate, and it'll make more like the details that we would put in here would be more about the back end of Glowing Telegram, in which case that doesn't belong in this repository, and in in this repository, in this library. So it would make sense to then have this component be here, this page component. So that's my thinking on the subject anyway. So what was I trying to do besides distracting myself? Two things. I had two thoughts. One was change the cursor when holding shift over a section. Is that what we call this? What are these actually called? So that happens in timeline. Timeline is composed of elements. Timeline, oops. What did I just do? Timeline elements. Okay. And then I'm gonna uncheck this and say something like mostly works. Okay, and then don't allow the same element to be added to the clip selection multiple times. So here I use the word cut. I had, in fact, a lot of the stuff in like this component was like cut selection dialog or words to that effect. I went back and I decided that clip is a better word, especially like in the UI when we're looking at, we want to take this highlight. Yeah, anyway, clip was a better word. That might be an even better word. But yeah, that's what I went with. So how does this work? It's interesting. So if I hit X here, yeah, it removes them all. That makes sense because they all have the same ID. Although the ID they have is probably not what we want. So what do we know about a section? Sadly, it does not have an ID. Yeah, so we're using this interface. Right, so the data that we're getting from the backend that represents the information about the video or the stream is this video metadata type, and it has highlights, attentions, transcription errors, silences, chat history, and transcript. And I think, okay, the last two are extensions of log event, and the rest are sections. Maybe it's okay to use the timestamp as the ID. If I do that, what are the implications of that? So when we call the set selected clips, right? So we're gonna append the new clip to the list of clips. Now we do have a reordering feature, so we can change them around. So this lets you, like, say if there were multiple things, you could click one and click the other, and it would add the clips in a specific order. Which could be helpful. Yeah. We could filter duplicates. We could... Ooh, okay. I know what I want to do here. I'm going to change the implementation of this slightly. What we're going to do is we're going to say const prev clips without new equals prev clips filter. Okay, take everything that doesn't have the ID of the new thing and then return this. So that fixes our adding the same thing multiple times problem. Right, so if I shift click this, it only adds it once. If I clear this and then add this, you know, it'd be really cool Let's look at the story for this. Should add multiple things. Okay. Give Storybook a chance to refresh. So now if I should click this and then this, there you go. Clip 0, clip 20,000. 20,000 S to 30. That doesn't seem right. I think so. Timestamp here is supposed to be. What does that represent? Is that seconds or is that milliseconds? Let's take a look. Video metadata. Yeah, so that's milliseconds. Does section say? Yeah, it's in milliseconds. Okay. So this is right. So somewhere we're taking those values. Oh, right here. There we go. Now here's a question. Why did I choose to have clip selection dialog and its clip not use milliseconds instead just treat it all as seconds? I think the answer is I didn't choose. This might have been just what Copilot did. Yeah, there you go. Do I have a I have some formatting utilities, except they're probably in the front end, aren't they? They're not in this. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, duration. MS to ISO, ISO 2 seconds. Format takes an ISO string, turns it into seconds, and calls format MS, which does this. So I think we want this function to be called wherever we're outputting this. And we're gonna change the type to have clip start and end be in milliseconds. And what does that really mean? Very little. Let's see, we could do that, or we could do this. If I do it this way, when I have over start, it says what the comment says. Okay. And then we just need to import. There we go. Cool. And then that breaks the thing that we had already done. Now, I'm not happy about... Oh, okay. In clip selection dialog, I think right now we're showing the ID. I don't think we want to do that. Let's show the index. Okay. Something is not right. 00:00.010. Interesting. What did we do? Let's just do a refresh. Make sure things are... There we go. Okay. And there. Okay, cool. Now, do we really need to say clip 1, clip 2 at all? Why is... What utility does that serve? I don't know that it does. Let's make this a little bit more compact. There you go. And then if I want to reorder them, okay, that works. Also, I found some cool icons. Interesting. Why Ah, I see. Hey, Brainless. How's it going? This button doesn't do anything, and... Oh, I see. So we have disabled, but I think the markup or the styles for icon button don't have the correct styles for disabled buttons. Disabled. Okay. Let's see if that is better or worse. There we go. Nice. Doing all right. How about myself? Yeah, doing well. I kind of woke up with a little bit of a headache this morning, and it's I think mostly abated after I fully woke up and got some coffee. Yeah, no, it's not fun. I've just realized though that let's see. Let's oh, here we go. Okay, there we go. I just need to move the panel to the side because like the keyboard cam was in the way of actually seeing the thing I've been talking about for like the last 5 minutes, which is their little select eclipse modal thingy. Yeah, so there we go. So now we have proper disabled buttons, and we can reorder this. It'd be cool if there was an animation on. Yeah, this is the most important thing. It would be cool if there was an animation though, so that our list item, when it got reordered or was initially added, that it would like flash highlight. May I suggest 2 style changes? You may suggest all the style changes you want. Now, will I do them? That's another matter. How do we in Tailwind, how do we make it so that this list item will flash when added? Table headers might look better aligned to the left, and buttons seem to be missing padding. Oh yes, these table headers and the buttons. Yes. The buttons could have more padding. This is true. Yes. Let's take a look at that. There's a separate component for that. It's like timetable. Yeah. Let's see. Did I specifically tell it to put the headers in a particular? Okay, I guess not. Is text start what I'm after? I don't think it is. It is. Okay, lucky guess. All right, well. No, copying and pasting the same class over and over again is not really the right thing to do. But I'm not going to make a separate like table header component right now. There we go. Of course, the table headers are not aligned between the tables, but that's fine. And then your other suggestion was around these buttons. I'm not using my special button component. I have a special button component, right? As things. Why am I not using that? I don't know. Button. Okay, so what does that look like? Oh, but we don't get our coloration. Right. So here's a fun thing that as I am, so full disclosure, right? I don't have a lot of experience using Tailwind. I decided for the set of components that I wanted to go down that path rather than falling back on the thing that I've been using for a lot of front-end stuff over the last number of years, which is Material UI. So one thing I'm seeing though is that by having dark and light mode variations, it doubles the number of styles. Yeah, I definitely can pass the color. The issue comes in that I need to do that both for light mode and dark mode. Right, so then I need to do like dark colon dark colon text. Is it green? Okay. What if we're in light mode? First of all, was I able to okay, that changes storybooks. Did I change the background to the preview? Sure, but that still is not. Let's see. I guess I don't really have a way in this to change from dark mode to light mode because it's based on the browser settings. Let's just assume that it's fine and move on. Okay, so then we need dark. Sure. Oops. Dark. How about now? Okay, that works. What did I mess up on this one? Dark BG Blue 600. Why is this not blue? What did I do wrong here? Let's take a look. Where is this going to open an inspector to? Way over there. Okay. Bring this over. Yeah, we have that media query for color scheme that's pulling in that dark. And we have BG gray. Interesting. Yeah, so it's using this one. It's not using this one. Why? Because BG Blue 600 doesn't exist? No, it does. It's right there. Is there a way? I don't think it's that way. Hold on. Tailwind CSS override. Oh, so bright. Oh, as a prefix. See, I knew it. So does that work? Maybe if I refresh. Nope. Maybe like this. Ah. All right. I feel like there is a better way. There's probably, like, what I need to do is a couple of things. I need to probably do some, like, some utility class stuff or something to like have like different categories of colors, and or I need to have a different attribute on button to be like, this is something that has semantic meaning that ties back to those colors, something like that. There are things I could do. I'm not going to deal with that right now. We've done enough. I don't know that this actually got us more padding though. Let's take a look at. So part of it is probably these px and py settings that I was passing in. Those probably overrode what was already on the button. Nope. Okay. Cool. See, I was consistent. Let's see what's in button. px4, py2. So what about 5 and 3? Better? All right. I think so. Okay, so back to the list of things we were doing. Don't allow the same elements to be added to the clip selection multiple times. We did that. See, like if I shift click this and shift click it again, it doesn't add it multiple times. Let's quickly Tailwind CSS highlight when element added. There are utility classes. Cursor, color scheme, caret color, resize pointer events, transforms. Also, I'm not on 4. I'm on the latest v3. Base styles, layout, spacing, sizing, topography, backgrounds, borders, effects, filters, tables. There's a whole thing about table layout. Okay. Okay. Transforms. Scale, rotate, translate, skew. Animation. Animate bounce.
You guys are so good at that.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah. So like if you look at the definition for animate bounce, animation is bounce 1 second infinite. I don't think we want infinite. So how do we bounce? I mean, alternatively, I can just write my own animation. Hey, Tudius, hello. How's it going? Don't mind me, I'm just sitting here trying to figure out how to do things with Tailwind. Okay, cool. So I can add a new animation inside of the Tailwind config. Yeah, that is a very cute emote. Brainless is right. So, utilities for different example animations, as well as animate none. You can customize values by animating theme.animation or theme.extend.animation. Yeah, so we can add one. And then we can add keyframes. So if I wanted to add, let's say, Tailwind config MJS. So here's where we have things. We want to add extend with the animation. We want a highlight new. Okay. Keyframes. Naughty. I didn't want to import something called the keyframes. All right, and so this does a thing that Copilot has generated. Are you good? How about me? Doing pretty good. Still working through the coffee, but fairly awake now. Like I was saying to Brainless earlier, kind of had a little bit of a headache when I woke up, but I think pretty much recovered from that, and is looking forward to working on this project some this morning, and was committed to pushing through it. So how do we actually see this? So if we go to clip selection dialog and we add animate highlight new, oh fancy, and save that, and then we go back to our storybook and I shift click. Okay, I didn't see anything happen. There we go. All right, clip. Oh, it's a bot. Bot. All right. What's wrong? What? Okay, so I added animate highlight new. Hey, and it even shows you a preview of what it does. So this, I mean, the keyframes look reasonable, although what is that? It's going to go from transparent to white. That's not even going to be visible. Let's go back here. Let's make this like a yellow. So how do we, what is highlighter yellow is RGBA. It thinks that's that, huh? I don't think that's quite right. I think what it said before was maybe more accurate, but let's see what this does. All right, so we refresh, and then I click clip. There you go. That does a thing. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's shift this to like 25%. And let's make this a little bit darker. So it'll get to the highlight color faster, and it will be stronger. Interesting. Oh, right. So this is the kind of an emergent behavior here, right? Because when we're adding things, the thing that prevents you from adding the same thing over and over again is that it removes the thing from the list of things and adds your thing. So that's good, because then we can see an activity happen if we click a different clip. But if we click the same one, yeah, I think that's fine. Success. My first animation with Tailwind. That wasn't even a list of things I wanted to do, but tangents aside. So change the cursor when holding shift over a timeline element. So that is code that lives inside of time segment marker. Just ignore the squiggly lines. Yeah. Let's see. how are we going to do this? We're gonna have to do something where we, like, there's not a like a state in CSS that we can use, right? Because we specifically want to show that the cursor is different when we are hovering over one of these elements and the user is holding shift. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce some state, which is going to be, what are we going to call this? Is clickable. There you go. And we'll import that. And then we're going to add a function, handle hover, if, yes, if on click is set, and event dot something. How do we tell if the user is holding shift when they are hovering? Well, when I don't know something, and the user is holding down shift, right? Lies. Stop. Check. User is holding shift. Oops. There I go with overlay again. Event shift key? Is there such a thing? No. There is. Okay, cool. On mouse, on house. I mean, there's not an on mouse hover. That's not a thing. We have on mouse enter, which I guess is what we want, right? So, I guess on mouse leave too. Again, helps if I use the right handle hover. Yeah, that's fine. So then what we want to do is we want to say if is clickable. Well, something like that. Let's see what this does. So this gives this hand, but if I'm holding shift, it doesn't change because that's already cursor pointer. Whether cursor, move, help, progress, crosshair. I think actually cursor pointer is right, and the issue is that the timeline should have a different cursor. Too many things called timeline. All right, so cursor pointer should be maybe like crosshair. How do we feel about that? Oh, except interesting. See, when I hold shift on both of these now, that works. Oh, right, because we're not doing the opposite. Hold on one second. So what I mean is if let's see. So if these are both true, then we want to just return. Because what we can then say is if either of those are false, then we set is clickable to false. Right? And so now, there we go. So we can go through the timeline. That shouldn't have selected anything though when I click that, but it does. That's a bug, right? Because that should only happen if I'm holding shift. So that functionality. I mean, maybe what I should be doing here, let's implement a handle click. And I'm gonna implement this this functionality like this. So we can have the rules around this interactivity be in this component. Because I think what's happening right now is that logic is living elsewhere. No, I think this is fine. Oh, yeah. So this makes sense. So what I did before was actually half of the story, right? So what we want to do here from the timeline's perspective, the perspective of this component, is we don't want to allow it to do the seeking behavior if the user is holding the shift key when they click, right? This doesn't control whether or not, so if the timeline component is not clickable, that on click on the actual HTML element of the timeline segment marker gets called, which is not controlled at all by whether or not this returns or not. This just prevents it from seeking. Okay, so now if I clear and I click here, it doesn't add anything to the clip selector. Right? I have to hold shift and then it does. Cool. So that takes care of this, which means I'm actually done with this. Greenlist says, now I feel like working on my work side project. Elixir's live view is so neat for that. You just add phx click and pass the Elixir function, prevent to handle the behavior. I will say I watched a video that was kind of walking through, let's see, one, I watched an actual video that demoed the LiveBeats app because I didn't feel like trying to find some music and actually playing around with it myself. And then I also watched a demo of someone like setting up a new project and kind of walking through things and showing some things, and it looks interesting. It feels like something I would have to, it feels like there's a lot of magic, and that's both a good and a bad thing, right? Where it feels like there's a lot of things that I would need to understand more of in order to really know how to, like, in the absence of someone showing me, oh, this is how you do this thing, it feels like it would be really hard to know how to do a specific thing, which I guess is generally how things work, right? Learning something new. But I don't know that I have the appetite for taking that on at the moment. It is a very different kind of methodology, right? It's very server focused. Yeah, and then actually understanding Elixir It would be necessary, yes. And there are positive things to say about Elixir, but I also, from what I've seen, it doesn't it doesn't seem like it would be my favorite language that it could be. I don't know. It's one of those things that, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Now, back a number of years ago, I tried out Clojure on some projects, and that was a language I really liked. But I think ultimately I've gotten so used to like the developer experience in TypeScript that other things are hard. Yeah, understandable personally for me. I overtook the place of Python as your favorite. Yeah. I like TypeScript. I like, well, I mean, as an example, right? In this project, we have TypeScript, we have Rust, and we have Python, and they have different feels to them. Still like to give Gleam a try though. Yeah. Like Python is something where it's you know, a language that I've known for a long time and then gotten out of practice with, and then there are certain affordances that I'm used to, and then I guess there's a what am I trying to say? There's a lot of context where it's like in a certain niche, right? There are it's very comfortable to use a language in a certain way for me, right? So like doing web dev stuff, I could do TypeScript front end and back end. I'm getting more accustomed to Rust. But like I've had things like recently, what was I working on? It was the something about the render job. There we go. Render job submission lambda, where oh, that's fun. Yeah, let's oh, interesting. I guess when I was working on this before Biome wasn't working, where I just like, okay, I need to make a Lambda function to just like glue some stuff together, and I'll just throw a bit of Python, right? There's just less of a threshold of like, yeah, I could write this in Rust, but then I'd have to set up like, how do I compile that and get that deployed and all that stuff, right? Whereas I can just like embed a little bit of Python here, and this could be TypeScript too. Yeah, this could be TypeScript. And it would be kind of similar in length, I think. Like, I'm not doing anything here. I think the consideration in this case would be like if I was doing something where the Python standard library had features that the Node one didn't, or vice versa. Of course, the Lambdas do have the AWS SDK or equivalent for the runtime, so Boto 3 in this case. And you know, for something like this where that's really all I need, this could be either or, but Python seemed easiest in that moment. But yeah. So I don't really have a point. It's just a matter of preference and what tool is least awkward to use at a given time, and especially when it's just a project that I'm working on for my use and for fun. Sure, whatever. It could be Clojure. I don't know that I want to write a Lambda in Clojure, given like the necessity of bringing up services. But like these things that are running in AWS Batch that are containers, things that they're gonna take, 10, 20, 30 more minutes to run. Those could be in whatever language. But yeah, anyway, somehow it has been an hour that I've been streaming. So I am going to take a break here in a moment. And then when we return, I'm going to work on some more UI stuff for the clip selection or cut selection for the video editor. Brainless says, what I am still amazed on the live view is how easy it is to create things which updated every browser at the same time. Like, yeah. So I saw like the pub sub stuff where you can subscribe to a thing and then it kind of just transparently not just pushes a message, but pushes a server-side render, and then it only pushes what's changed to the client. It feels like if you were re-implementing your server-side rendered website, but to use WebSockets. Something, I don't know. Yeah, it's very cool. All right, I'll be back in a couple minutes and we'll continue on. So